Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel, We're the Movie Couple. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And this is our non-spoiler review for Tenet. Tenet is written and directed by Christopher Nolan and stars John David Washington, Robert Pattinson, Elizabeth Debicki, and Kenneth Branagh. A secret agent is given a single word, Tenet, as his weapon and sent to prevent the onset of something worse than World War III. You guys, we finally got to see Tenet!
Finally got around to it. I'm so excited that we finally can be now a part of the discussion for the movie Tenet and not avoid every single video on YouTube that says Tenet review.
Yeah, Tenet review, Tenet explain, Tenet this and that. It's because I've been so intrigued to click on it, but what's the point of clicking on it if you hadn't seen the movie? So now we're so happy we get to finally be a part of the conversation. Now, one of the things after seeing the initial trailer was that we knew that this one was a film that needed to be seen on screen.
Yes.
Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, that wasn't something that we were able to feel like we could do safely, and also none of the theaters near us are open, so we would have to travel for like about an hour for the nearest open theater to see it. Luckily, we were able to see it from the comfort of our own home, and also luckily, now we don't normally do this when we watch films, but after reading a couple of the reviews were, I would say, like from my perspective, felt mixed.
Yeah.
I felt that a lot of the reviews that we kind of just like, you know, kind of people just briefly talking about it, not really going into the plot lines or anything like that. They had issues with the sound mixing, as in the music were too loud or the sound effects were too loud, where it overwhelmed the dialogue, which is in any Nolan film super important. Just like if you were to miss a chunk of Inception, you're just like, wait, what, can we rewind? But if you're in a movie theater, you can't exactly do that.
Exactly.
In a drive-in, I would say it's even worse. Because you don't get that Dolby surround sound. Not all cars come. I don't know if any cars come with that. But that's why we decided to actually watch with captions, and I am not sorry that we did, because it helped me understand, like, really when the parts where the dialogues were a little bit more muted, a little bit more quiet, I could still kind of glance down and be like, what did I mean? I got it. Okay, that's what he said.
Well, and also with Nolan's dialogue, a lot of it is really dense.
I feel like you need to be a physics major in order to understand
a
this
little
movie
bit of
fully.
that kind of a thing. Like, it is a little bit, some of his dialogue is a little bit of, like, a physics lesson. So you're kind of sitting there going, wait, what? I'm not quite. Some of it's really hard to kind of first, even if you understood what was being said, to kind of wrap your head around the concept.
The science and the concept of that. The concept is really, really interesting, and we saw what he was able to do with Inception, and everybody remembers the fight within, like, the moving building fight. Like, that's so cool.
That was such a cool
visually
moment.
Stunning. I mean, Nolan's films are visually stunning. That's definitely, I think, one thing I can say for sure. I mean, there's many positive things I can say about Nolan's films, but one of my favorite things is the visual. It's always fantastic, and I felt that also with this one. And also, what's up my alley is that this is like an international, like, espionage film, which I love. That it's a reason why I love films such as Mission Impossible. There's something, just this like mystery that's kind of shrouded with secret agents and the way they operate, and they have these code words and the jargon, and I just fall in love with it. It's great.
And that was something that this movie did really have at the very beginning, was this kind of Mission Impossible espionage kind of feel to it. And I kind of liked that. I liked kind of that mission that you don't even really know what the mission is quite yet, and it's slowly revealed.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's very Nolan. It's kind of, how Memento, you unveil every minute, every dialogue, every almost certain characters with certain keywords. You're like, what did they just unveil? There were certain things as we watch the movie, as the protagonist travel, and as he sort of learn, and he's kind of growing from not just a CIA agent anymore. He is now the protagonist. He's learning about not time travel, but time inversion, which he himself, as he started to kind of venture into this, had a little bit of trouble viewing it as, like, then they kept on saying you're still seeing it as a linear world. You gotta stop seeing it. Several people told him that, which was really, really great, because I felt like the protagonist, in a way, is almost our perspective as he travels in the real time and as he's learning about inversion and things like that. And then we meet other characters such as Robert Pattinson's Neil, which, by the way, hands down, like, my favorite character. I had a feeling going in I was going to love him, but I didn't think I was gonna like love him. And of course, Elizabeth Debicki, we have Kenneth Branagh in this. Really fantastic cast all around to kind of tell this very intricately woven story.
Everyone in this cast did an amazing job with their script. I mean, I loved with what John David
Washington.
John David Washington, Robert Pattinson, all of them did. And honestly, when I first saw Kenneth Branagh, I was like, whoa!
He looks really different.
Yeah, he looked really...
Sounded, you're like, oh, that's definitely a Kenneth Branagh voice, but the whole time I was like, we're sure this is him, right? Because I think I don't know, did the facial hair throw me off or did the accent? I don't know.
I think it was a little bit of both. When he had, he also looked like he had gained like a little bit of not like weight, but like bulk.
Well, he had that, it fit the character, if that was the point. But he is such a chameleon too.
Yeah, he is.
Kenneth Branagh has that ability, kind of like how Gary Oldman kind of also has that ability. And that's one of the reasons why I love both of those actors.
I mean, just to compare his character in this and, like, say his character as Gilderoy Lockhart are, like, those are two
Very
drastically different characters.
Yeah.
And I just, and plus, it's Kenneth Branagh, so I just love hearing his voice and seeing his acting. But I really have to admit, Robert Pattinson is the one who really kind of stole the show for me.
Look, if you're still kind of iffy about Pattinson being Batman... I would, and if you haven't had a chance to see any of his previous work prior to Tenet, I would suggest maybe, watch one or all of the films that he's done since Twilight and let Twilight be Twilight. That was very early on in his career. Robert Pattinson...
he was young and he wanted the paycheck kind of a thing.
Well,
it was a big budget, and if someone's offering you that kind of thing in your career,
he was an actor doing his job.
It. Yeah.
He was an actor doing his job.
Exactly.
But the thing is that he's really sculpted he's always been talented, obviously, and he's slowly through some of the bigger and smaller films that he's done really showcased, really coming into his own as an actor, and specifically with this character Neil reads to me so much what we are able to, like, almost a sneak peek into his Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And it just gets me even more excited for Batman, and I know we're not going to keep talking about Batman. This is a Tenet review. Stay on track. So this being a non-spoiler review, because we don't want to spoil anything for you guys if you haven't seen the movie yet. We can't really go too much into the details of the plot, especially like past really the first act. Definitely not about the third act. But there's a lot of intricacy, which I really love. Luckily, you and I, because I was so worried about not being able to follow it, right? Kind of that was my concern with Inception. So I just really paid attention to all the dialogue. And I really didn't have any trouble. I mean, we watch a couple of explainer videos at the end? Yes, but I was able to follow. I was really confident in what I was following, and you and I were actually able to predict a couple of things that happened.
Yeah, you were able to do that a lot better. There was actually a moment halfway through that I had to be like, okay, explain this to me. What's going on?
And I hit pause, and I was like, here's what's happened so far.
And she's able to break it down and was like, okay. Now we move forward.
Yeah.
But that is probably one of my biggest qualms about this movie is the fact that, it is hard to follow. You really kind of need to
that dialogue
take
moves
notes.
fast, man.
The dialogue moves fast. The dialogue is dense, and it's hard to hear. So that could be frustrating for a lot of people. However, I still thought that cinematography was amazing. I thought the effects, the way he kind of worked with sound, I knew this was going to be something really cool that he was going to do. The working with sound in the reverse and the music, even though I do have to admit he cranked up the volume a little too much.
He wants you to feel the effects, but then you're like, but the words, Nolan, your words. The written words that I want to hear so badly. Please give me that as well. Yeah, it's you have to kind of pick and choose, and I think it was good for us going in, having read some of those like initial reactions and reviews for Tenet, to know that was something we needed to pay attention for, and opting to not see it at a drive-in as opposed to seeing it here from home, which I think really like let us enjoy the film as much as we possibly could, because I sat there just like kid in a candy store. I was like, this is happening. And talking about the sequences and the sound and the cinematography of all, I want to touch on the fighting sequence. So we kind of saw groundbreaking, style of fighting in Inception, We all saw that, blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, how are they going to top that? I don't want to say they top it, but I would say it's up there because you're dealing with inversion. Time inversion, so meaning shooting certain things in and showing things in reverse, and also the sound design playing into that, where it's going backwards, and just to kind of know the concept of it is really, really interesting to see the fight and trying to think of it not in a linear way, but if you're pushing or catching. That's really, it's just really, really cool.
I do have to admit, though, there were some moments in this movie that really kind of made me go, wait, why exactly are they for me, since it was very difficult to follow, it was very easy for this movie to kind of for me kind of lose its place. This movie does kind of...
The third act did that for me just a little bit. I was like, what is I need to get back on track.
So you really do, there are a lot of moments that you kind of lose the importance of it.
Yes.
Where, don't get me wrong, it's still kind of beautiful and you still kind of get swept away in this style of filming. But there's a lot of times where I kind of got a little frustrated. Going, what is just going on? So that is something to kind of keep aware of when you are watching this movie.
So, and also, you know, if you decide to purchase the film on VOD, this is definitely, with a lot of Nolan films, I remember in Memento, that's something like once I got to the end of it, I was like, hold on, I need to rewind the entire thing and watch it again, kind of. And I did that with Inception, and we're doing that with Tenet as well. Just, it's definitely worth, at the very least, a second watch, but you know, even more so than that, because there's always little things you can pick up, and there's always, now that you know and you have more of an understanding of the concept and the story and the characters and where they're coming from and going to, really it's going to be a lot of fun to kind of take a look back. Even if you just go back to certain scenes, you're like, wait, okay. So that's something that we kind of spent last night talking about. You know, obviously it's all spoilers, so we can't even discuss it here. But it was a lot of fun. I liked it so much more than I thought I was going to. I really, because of the mixed review, I was like, well, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'll be able, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it. But I am so happy that I was obviously able to judge for myself, as I do with all films. But I'm happy that I kind of went in with an open mind, with the precaution of, like, you might be missing some dialogue, so turn that closed caption on, and it really fixed the problem for me.
So, I mean, with me, though, I mean, I think this movie really does have a lot to offer to see on a big screen, but you kind of need to see it again on a small screen, so you kind of have a chance to kind of go back, watch it, put on subtitles, and catch all of the little nuances.
And if you're not a film with subtitles, then obviously you have to enjoy the film the way you want to. Obviously, we're not saying you have to watch it with subtitles. That's something we did for our sake and for our viewing experience, which I felt like elevated it. But if you don't watch it with subtitles, you can just watch it again. You can, especially if you have it on VOD, you can just rewind and you just watch it again. I don't think you're gonna, you know, like, it's gonna lessen your experience. Only if you let it, I guess. So with that said, there was a final moment between two key characters that I just absolutely love, and I think that was what locked in how much I liked the film for me. Between those two characters. After seeing that, I was like, wait.
That was a cool reveal.
Wait a minute. I love this. Because then your mind immediately starts working backwards, and you go right to the beginning, and you go, oh my gosh. And you almost, if it wasn't so late at night, I would have watched it again immediately. So with that said, do you have anything else to add?
No, overall, I thought this was a fun movie. It had lots, it was a little difficult to follow along. It kind of kept a very fast pace, and sometimes you're like, oh, slow down. Just explain it to me in layman's terms.
Espionage film. You know, you felt the adrenaline of it all. If we had seen this in theater, what would your rating be?
Now, I do kind of want to give this two different reviews. I mean, one, if you are a Christopher Nolan fan, you are going to want to see this in the theaters. So you're going to want to see the surround sound. You're going to want to hear the sound. You're going to want the experience. So definitely, I would say, like, matinee it. Definitely. Okay. If you are not a huge Christopher Nolan fan, but you still kind of like his films, I would say stream it. Because then you have the ability to watch it over again, go, wait, what just happened? Go back, and gives you a little bit more of an ability to kind of catch up with this movie.
Okay.
And use subtitles.
Help those out a lot. For my rating, it's going to be Catch It opening night. I was so fascinated by this film, and my mind is still like I want to now go, and I can safely do this now. Watch all the explainer videos just to see if there's anything else that I didn't pick up. All the Easter eggs. So much fun. Thank you so much for joining us on this non-spoiler discussion of Tenet. Let us know what you thought of the movie. Spoiler free. Please keep it spoiler free for the people who haven't watched it. I want to keep the surprise for them as much as possible. Comment that in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye. Or will we have seen you already? You just don't know it.